So if you had $1,000 to invest in the marijuana industry, what stocks would you buy? Well, I'm going to be trying to answer some of those questions, but before I go into that, let me just say that $1,000 is not really a lot in the stock market. Oh, I pressed something. But $1,000 is not really a lot in the stock market, and to try to get some better returns, like doubling or tripling in like a year or two, we're going to be looking at riskier stocks. Now, the marijuana industry is riskier in general, but we're going to be looking at some riskier stocks as well. Because if you have $1,000 and you get 30% in a year, that's nice, but you've made $300, and that's not that much. So ideally, you want to be looking at doubling, tripling, or doubling twice, which is quadrupling. But you want to be looking at some very nice gains. But anyways, let's get started. So you have a few options. You have companies such as Canopy Growth. We have Aurora. We have Organigram. These companies grow the marijuana itself. Right now, by the way, the entire marijuana sector is down, so these numbers you can ignore. But yeah, these companies grow the marijuana itself, and they are fairly overpriced at this moment. A lot of their future growth is already priced in, but they still have a lot of potential to grow. And obviously, someone has to grow the marijuana for the entire industry, so these companies they're at the roots of it all. So that's good. You also have pharmaceutical companies and research companies in general. There's a lot of those as well. Well, not too many. I have a list somewhere on my channel of all the major ones, but a lot of these companies, they're looking to research the marijuana. They're looking to take certain components, make medicines out of them, patent those medicines, and patent certain ways of doing things. And if they get something that is better than the current medicines on the market, something that is actually really effective, then these companies have the potential to make a lot of money. And whenever I talk about a company that grew a ridiculous amount, I always end up looking at OWC Pharmaceuticals, because this company was just a penny stock. It was worth literally a few cents. At some point, it was worth a third of a cent, and now it's worth $1.38. A few days ago, it was worth up to $3.20. So this is one of the most ridiculous examples. If you had put $1,000 into this company and got it for a third of a cent a share, you would have been able to sell it for $1 million a few weeks ago. So that's pretty cool. We also have some safer pharmaceutical companies that aren't dropping as much. But yeah, there's a lot of options to do. Some of the more riskier companies are the American companies. The American marijuana industry is not very well developed yet, and so a lot of the companies are worth, or they have a small market cap. So a company like American Cannabis, for example, currently it doesn't have a lot of clients, it doesn't have a lot to do, but in the future what this company plans to do is it plans to help businesses set up shops, get all the paperwork going and everything. But this company is going to help other businesses get started, and in exchange for that, they're going to get part of the company that they're helping. So for example, for 5% of your company, they will help you set up and get everything done. And if your company succeeds, then this company will succeed as well, because they're going to have a small share of your company, plus you're probably going to pay them a little bit as well. But pretty cool company, a lot of potential, and at 30 million, this company could, if it starts doing really well, it could easily become worth 300 million in a few years from now, and that would be 10 times your money, which is pretty good. We also have social media companies, which I personally don't think will be too successful, but there's room to disagree there. But personally, if I had $1,000 to invest, I think I would choose something of a medium risk. So Organigram had a recall recently, and they're getting sued right now for pesticides in their marijuana. And because of this, their stock has been suffering fairly significantly for the last few months, and it is currently priced in lower than everybody else. So if I had $1,000 to drop into a company and wait a few years and just see what happens, I think I would choose this company because, well, I would buy into it, but not right now. I think that this stock will drop even more in the future, but I think that if you buy into a company like this that has a big problem right now, but in the future, once the problem clears up, then it has potential. But this company has all the licenses done, and all that's in the way of them growing is their current problem, which was the recall. Once they're past the recall, they have a lot of potential for growth. They're only worth 200 million, so in the future, they still have a lot of potential to grow, and they also have some potential for an acquisition, or just getting straight up bought out by a different company. That's a possibility. So Yeah, I would throw my money into something like this. Something medium risk. If you want to go for something high risk, then there's a lot of penny stock companies that are currently pretty speculative, but they do have a lot of potential to grow. So yeah, those are some of the possibilities that you could do with $1,000. And if you're going to do that, by the way, be prepared to lose about 60% of it, because generally you're not going to lose all of it. You're going to be able to sell it off before you lose all of it, but be be prepared to lose a huge portion of it, because if you choose the wrong company, there's a possibility that you might lose most of it or all of it if you're really unlucky. But I mean, you got to take some risks in order to get some reward. But I hope this helped. If it did, leave a like, and that's it.